Good morning. It's Babi Actif here. This is a session for mums and dads. I'm just having a little look on here to see if I can make sure that we're on the page this morning. My name is Natasha. This is a 6 weeks to 6 months postnatal session. It's fitness for women and for dads as well. Anybody who just wants to get a little bit of core restoring, concentrated work. Anybody who wants to feel that they are able to connect to their breath, work on their posture a little bit, and really just connect to their basic fitness and their basic body awareness. So it's important that you remember that this is a specific session for you after the birth of your baby, 6 weeks after a vaginal delivery, or 12 weeks after a cesarean section. So as I say, my name's Natasha, this is Babi Active. Well done for finding this web page, if that's where you've come to, that's where you've landed, or well done for finding us on YouTube. Oh, well done if you've joined us today, right now, for a live. I've got a camera set up here and I've got a laptop set up here, so I'm doing the best I can to figure out how you're viewing me. So I can just see that you can see the edge of the laptop, so I'm just going to move that to the side because you don't need to see that, and then you can see me a little bit better. I'll just try and drag myself down on this view, see if I can see the full. Yeah, I can see myself, and I'm not sure who's watching, but if you're watching, it's so useful for you to do a sound check for me, please. Just send me a little comment. Just give me a little thumbs up if you want. You don't even have to comment, you can just do it on those little likes. But if you love these sessions, if you've been benefiting from these sessions, give me some love as well. So I'm going to start in a few minutes. As I say, it's a postnatal session. You can enjoy this in a safe space. So have a look at the space around you, make sure it's set up for your workout. What you're going to need today is something stretchy. If you haven't got anything stretchy, this is a judo belt from my daughter. You could get a bathrobe belt and use that. I'm just going to use that for a bit of traction, using it in maybe lifting the arms. I might go to that exercise today. That's on there. We'll see how we get going with that. I've got a ball and I've got a cushion. So you might decide that you want a ball or a cushion to use, and that's going to be placed in between your legs when you squeeze. I'm also going to use a cushion underneath my back, so when I'm on the floor and I'm lying down, I'm going to be lying down in this area, and then I'm going to be lifting up my hips in some bridge work. So you'll need a cushion for that as well. Definitely need a cushion for that. Something quite chunky. This is a little bit chunky, but you might need something chunkier. It depends on the flexibility of your back. I might squeeze it like that under my back. I'm going to start, as I say, on the floor. Yeah, you definitely need a cushion and a band today. If you like a dumbbell, if you're a little bit further on than 12 weeks, and this isn't your first session, when I use this movement with my arms, which I'm going to start to use as part of a warm-up pretty soon, you could use something in your hands. Again, the weight, a ball would be fine, just to give you a little bit of awareness and make your muscles respond slightly differently. You could use a dumbbell, you could use a weighted sandbag. So just have a look around you and see what equipment you like. I hope you can see me throughout this session. Just going to go back to the beginning of this list, and then I'm going to start. So as I say, give me a little wave if you know that you can see and hear me okay. And make sure you position me in your device in a position where you can see the floor. Well, see me from your floor. I've opened the window. It's going to be quite warm, so make sure you've got something to drink. Haven't had any messages from you, so I'm assuming that you are able to hear me loud and clear. So it's off we go. I'll head on down to the mat and we can get started. So you can't see the laptop now, which is a better view for you. All right, good. So we're going. So I'm just going to make my way down to the floor. Let's do a Pilates roll, why don't we? Stand up tall and just reach up to the sky. If it's the first time you've put your arms above your head for a while, just have a little sway. Just have a little sway. See how that feels in your tummy. Fabulous. And then bring those arms down. Just thinking about your feet. Look at your feet placement for a minute. See if you can bring your toes up off the floor. And see how that just makes your whole body have to think a bit harder about your posture. And then just rock your feet gently side to side. Feel the four corners of your feet. Moving into the front and the back of your feet. Just noticing how that feels. Just maybe placing your hand on your tummy. Drop your shoulders. Begin to ease into your day. Say hi to baby. Maybe baby's sleeping. And then just allow yourself to rock forward and back without taking your feet off the floor. Notice where the muscles feel that they're doing some work for you. Fabulous. So welcome if you're joining me this morning. It's lovely to have you along. Give me a little wave and let me know. Please say good morning. And if you're watching on replay, well done. I'm going to use my arms to take myself a little bit taller, and I'm going to make my way to the floor here. So I'm just going to step a little bit further backwards on the edge of my mat, plant my feet down to where I feel most supported, and roll my shoulders. Easing out any tension, a couple of times easing out some tension there. Feeling the goodness of this movement. I'm going to bring my arms up above my head, reach up for the sky, take my shoulders right out of my socket, become aware of my knees, they're not locking out. And then I'm going to bring my arms stretching right round the side of my body here, through the back, into my fingers. Then I'm going to put my chin on my chest. I'm going to roll myself down. I'm going to do this just 3 times. And I'm going to make sure my knees have a really lovely bend on them, and my arms are becoming like spaghetti arms now. I'm going to roll myself up, so I want you to scan your own body as an expert. Only you can feel where your body is feeding back this movement. So I'm not using the breath at all, but I am keeping a flow and a rhythm of breathing. Stretch through my fingers again, drop my shoulders into their sockets. Pelvis feels like it's in neutral. It's neither here and it's neither here. It's in a neutral position. Roll my shoulders, chin to chest. Softening the knees. Beginning to let myself go and just scanning for where I feel any tension releasing. If it feels good, you can yes and no your head. Let's come up with a sense of control here. So come up, imagine like it's like a kind of like a bike chain rolling up. Arms are heavy. And as you do this, you're just stacking up. Your spine, feet staying flat on the floor, equal pressure on all corners of your feet. Spine is getting longer as the crown is placed back on your head. And your posture is supreme at the top of this move. Should we do it one more time? Taking ourselves down. So just looking for tension. Where's the tension? Where do you feel some pulling and tugging? So if you have got any concern about your tummy here, you really want to be drawing your tummy muscles back. And in fact, this isn't suitable, this exercise, if you do have a diastasis recti that's unhealed. Unless you've got that lovely control. So if you've got a gap there, don't worry. It just means you've got to use your muscles to pull your muscles towards the tummy muscles that split there, towards the spine. That's the best way to do this move. And you'll feel it there. You'll feel that you've got control over your body if you apply that thought to the way you move. Now I'm going to begin to squat down. Don't be shy, say good morning, let me know you're there. Let's come down to the mat now. So I'm still drawing my tummy towards my spine, and I have a well-healed gap. And now just bending those knees, plant yourself down onto the floor, palms flat on the floor, walk yourself forward, and then just come to all fours position, and then just have a little rock side to side. Just notice how that feels. Any people with carpal tunnel syndrome, you can come onto your fists. You might like to put the fists as if they were palm to palm. That feels really good for people, tends to be good for people with wrist issues. Or just face them that way, see how you feel. A little bit side to side here. And then put your feet together and then point your feet out. And all I'm doing is putting my knees where they are, comfortably under my hips. I'm not worried about perfect 4-point landing here. I'm just testing this position in the pelvis. So just take your feet in and out. If there's any pain, please stop. And I'm going to take my feet in, and then in, and then in, and then in. Fabulous. Then I'm going to sit back onto my feet so the feet can come in. Ease yourself back down onto your heels. Rest your head on the floor. Open your legs wide. Notice if your head feels like it can get there without any discomfort. If not, make 2 potatoes or grab a pillow. We won't be long here. And taking a breath. I'd like you to think about your pelvic floor straight away today. So just inhaling, exhaling, letting go, pelvic floor. One more time. Exhaling here. If your knees are ever sore on these positions, you can always roll up your blanket or your mat. Okay, just coming onto all fours here. We're just going to practice pulling those tummy muscles towards the spine. So just roll your shoulders and just notice how long your spine is in this position. So if you can just do a little bit of a check. Just walk your knees to your hands. Feel that your tummy muscles do something there. Then walk your knees away from your hands. Walk them in together and then walk them out and feel where you feel super comfortable. All right, do the same with your hands. Take your hands out and then bring your hands in and then put them underneath your shoulders. Bring them closer, lengthen the back. Feel where you feel really supported and natural in this position. A little wiggle of there onto the hips and then pelvic tilting. Pelvic tilting. So I'm just going to take myself a bit longer in the spine. That's better. Shoulders are back in their socket. And I'm aware that my tummy muscles want to hang down. Gravity's pushing the tummy down. So here, I've just tucked my tummy in. You can relax your toes. If you feel a bit wobbly, tuck your toes under. It's like having stabilisers on a bike, isn't it? A little bit of pelvic tilting. So you take this a little bit further and you can guess what we're going to do. We're going to take it further here. And down. So taking it further, noticing here, a little bit of a crunch on the tummy, just feeling that position. Notice the pelvic floor doing something. I'm going to do that one more. Tail, if you imagine, is flicking up to the sky there. And under. Excellent. What I want you to do from here is just come down onto your elbows. Give your wrist a little break. You can even roll them if that feels good. And then just rock a little bit forwards. Backwards and forwards. Checking into the tummy muscles again, see how they're feeling. Can you stop them from feeling as if they're kind of flopping to the floor? Take what you need from that position. If it doesn't feel too good, we'll do that one more time up here. That's it. I'm going to relax there. And then what I want you to do is come into position that looks like a tiger. So this position is one of the positions. Good morning, I'm going to have a go at this if you've got any little ones watching you. This is a really nice exercise to get your balance working again on all fours. So have a go. I hope you can see that. So come on to all fours for me. Good morning, if you're watching, don't be shy, say hello. It'd be lovely to have you along. This is your beginners, or gentle. People are looking for more restorative session for your tummy and your pelvic floor. We're going to be standing towards the latter part of the session. We're starting on the floor today. You just need a band if you're joining me, and you can have a cushion and a ball. Roll your shoulders back. Take your right leg out and just feel, I hope I'm still in shot there, just feel that you're pushing gently through the heel. Just notice that. Just feel how you're rocking forwards and backwards on your wrist. Again, if it's too uncomfortable on the wrist, just put your fists towards each other. That's great. And then what I want you to do is take a breath in, lengthen that neck. Inhale and exhale, lift that leg. And again. Should we do 2 more? Lovely, then bring yourself back down into a child's pose. Head on the floor. Rotate your wrist in this position if that feels like it's an alternative that's suitable for you. Just got a message there. Okay. All right, fabulous. So we're coming back down, I'm going to change leg. So I'm on all fours here, on my shoulders back, spread my fingers. I've just put you back onto all fours position. Think about how you can control your tummy in this position. This is the most challenged position for your abdominals to be in, because gravity is on top of you, pushing you down. So it's a really good way of just seeing if you can talk. So what I'm going to get you to do, it means you engaging your deep transverse abdominal muscles. I'd like you to talk as you breathe out, you're counting actually your 4. Ready? Roll those shoulders, your fists are here if you've got discomfort. See how you feel, neck is long. This is my other foot and I'm lifting and lowering it. I want you to breathe in, and as you exhale, count the 4 repetitions. We're only doing short repetitions, it's only a short session. 1, 2. So you can really breathe out there. 3. I want to hear you breathing out. Virtually hearing you breathing out. Are you breathing out like a tiger? And then bring yourself back. You can either sit back onto your feet if that's comfortable for you, or come back into a child's pose, however you want to. I'm just going to roll my wrists. I'm going to add in, this is weight bearing exercise. So these are areas of the body are typically quite weak on women. So the amount of time we spend on our wrists actually bolsters our wrist strength, because we're really working through the wrist extensors, through the shoulders for our posture, loading the chest here. So bear with me if you can on that. I'm now going to put you on to 2 points. So I'm going to take one arm off the floor, or you can repeat that with just the 4 repetitions. That's all we're just doing, is practicing. See if we can do that again. You can choose to use that integrated breath. So just set yourself up. Think about one leg coming out, and then try to make sure it's the opposite arm. So often when we do this exercise, people try and take the same arm and same leg. And that's much more challenging. So here, roll your shoulders back. If you've got little ones watching, you can make them go rah like a tiger. What I'd like you to do is ask yourself where you're most comfortable. So you've got that long alignment. You're going to lift that leg. You're going to count 4. And this arm is the opposite arm. It's coming up at the same time. So lift that chest. Neck is long. Try and get yourself into a position of posture that is really super kind of on parade. All right. Inhale to prepare. Exhale 1. And again. 2. Exhale there. 3. You're doing great. 4. Come back this time, either into your child's pose, or sit back and rotate your wrist like we've just done, or come back here if you want to do a little bit more. So just see if you can sit here onto your toes. So not good if you've got any ankle injuries or toe injuries, but if you're okay, please stay here. Let go of your pelvic floor, round your spine. Then walk your spine up as if you were stacking it, and see if you can get some balance through your toes. Lift your spine. Drop your shoulders down into their sockets. Let your pelvic floor descend. Fabulous. You can even play around here with support. Coming back on, we're going to do that other side now. Walk yourself forward. Choose your hand position. I'm going to flatten my hands this time. Roll my shoulders. Neck is long. All right, this is the other leg. Point it out behind you. See if you can present that chest forward. Think about how kind of square you can be in your posture, and then work on pulling the tummy muscles back from on the out breath. All right, so this is the leg and the opposite arm. So just try that, load yourself up. See if you can be quite square on. Neck is long. Inhale to prepare. Just have a little breathe out. Reach the arm away as if you're reaching to someone you love. 2. Reach. Think about lifting from the hip as opposed to just kind of bending the knee. Lift and extend. Tummy muscles really getting kind of stretched there. Last time. Lift that chest. And come back down. I'm going to come straight back onto my toes. I'm going to come back to this position again. You're doing fantastic, by the way. I just want to see if you can find your happy space. Are you here today? Does this feel good? Or do you need to sit down onto your feet or take a child's pose to relax? Fabulous. So what I'm going to do now is walk myself forward one more time. And then I'm going to take myself back onto my toes one last time, and then stand straight up. So let's do a little bit here. One more. Breathe, take advantage of loading those wrists, and then walk yourself back. So this is a great way to walk yourself back up off the floor. If you find it more challenging to stay here, then just come up with a lunge. So I'm going to demonstrate that now. So otherwise, everybody else rise to standing. Otherwise, you're on the floor, and then you're better off coming up there. Okay, taking care of our core system and working on protecting our back, because often, if you haven't been practicing through pregnancy or pre-pregnancy on looking after your back, which of course is linked to the strength of your buttocks and the strength of your tummy muscles, then you can easily end up like with backaches that end up being quite considerable, inconvenient for a long time. So it's important that you come up with care. I'm going to have a quick drink. We're standing now for this section. If anybody's got any questions or wants to say hello, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to know who's watching. Just send me a little message. Give me some thumbs up or some hearts and let me know if you're feeling good so far today. That's how Facebook works, isn't it? Well done, everybody. Lovely to see you. What are you going to need for this next section? Yeah? Have a drink. Open the window if you need to. And then maybe you've got a band handy. This is a judo belt. You've got a bathrobe, haven't you, in your house, or a belt, or a really stretchy pair of leggings. Okay? So grab that for me to start with. For those of you who are ready to go, we'll do a little bit of this. And you can always press pause if you're watching on replay. You can do everything I've done again. You can do it for double the repetitions. I just did 3 times 4. There's no science behind that. I didn't do it for any particular strength gains. I did it so that you could have a go at variations and really focus on your breathing there. So I know that's been useful for you. And of course you can extend that to further reps as you wish. Good, so just grabbing your belt then. Take your arm wide and take your palms out to the sides. And as you're doing that, soggy in the middle, if you've got a stretchy band, you're getting a lot more work in because you've got that elasticity. If you're like me and there's not much stretch in this, you're just getting some good squeeze there. You can feel the squeeze with the elasticity and can also feel it even when there's not so much tension within the material. So I want you to drop your shoulders and I want you to squeeze your shoulder blades to create back cleavage. I'm going to teach you just to focus on your out breath now. So inhale to prepare, and I want you to blow out a candle as if it was a bit further away. So it's quite far away. You have to blow it out in a longer breath. Inhale. 6, 5, 4. Notice what's happening in the tummy, in the shoulders, in the back. Last one. Hopefully you were getting a real good sense of awareness here, sense of feeling that there was some response there. I'm going to do exactly the same thing, but for those who want to, we're coming up onto our toes. Okay, so I'm going to do that in between the out breath. All right, so it's as I'm breathing in. Roll your shoulders, bring some awareness to your posture for me. So you can take your band, you can inhale. 1. 2. 3. Slowing down your breath. Drop your arms to drop your shoulders. Nice breath in. Feeling good this morning. Let's do that one more time. You don't have to come up too high. Awareness and control. Good stuff. Working on the balance. Excellent. So did you feel that in the upper traps? Did you feel that you really had to focus? It was a lot to focus on. These are the things that we're working on within your session. What I'm going to get you to do next is use the same movement. But I'm going to give you a little squeeze now with a ball between your thighs. So if you have got a ball, grab it. If you haven't, just grab a cushion. Okay? Just grab a cushion. What am I going to use? I think I was going to use this guy. If you get a narrow cushion, it's harder. As if the cushion is thin, it's harder. So get something that's a little bit pumped, get it like pumped up. Bring it back in between your knees. And then as the beginning, we did a check on our foot placement. Can you feel your feet are just all 4 corners of your feet? Can you notice that when you feel the corners of your feet, you can control your femurs into your pelvis like this, and you can activate from there your buttocks. You can put your hands on your buttocks and feel that. What I want you to do is find where they are neutral. You can look down at your feet, feel that you're kind of lifting up through the body again. You're tall through your spine. You've got that crown on your head. There's maybe a diva crown. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what time of the month it is for you. Might be a diva crown. And then roll your shoulders back there. Neutral pelvis. Let's check it. So we're not sticking it out. The towel sticking out behind us. It's not coming underneath. Like when we're holding baby, it's not there. It's neutral. Neutral. I'm going to put some information in a post to follow this after. So I want you to feel that. Neutral, please. Long through the spine. Get your band ready if you feel that you want to use it. And this time, I'm going to get you to squeeze your legs together. And this is automatically going to work on your pelvic floor muscles. There's lots of different ways to do that. And this is another way. And it's like your variety in your meal time. It's the variety of movements that give us the muscles, give the muscles the opportunity to work in different situations. Like we need all the variety of food, we need all the varieties of movements in our body as well. So this is going to work on your buttocks because it's on the hips. So if it's feeling too strong already, having to stand here and talk to me with this already, please lose the band, the ball or the cushion. All right, so let's just use a squeeze and a squeeze on top. Double whammy. You ready? 6. Roll the shoulders. Tall, long through the spine, draw up through your leg muscles, through your quadriceps. Optimum pelvis neutral alignment. Drop your shoulders. Inhale to prepare. Just keep your feet grounded for this one. Exhale. Squeeze those thighs. Squeeze shoulder blades. Fists can go to the edge of the room. See? They're not kind of kinked on the wrist. Squeeze into your back muscles. That's halfway. And you get warmer. Inhale to the rib cage, please. A long blow through your candle breath. Okay, there. Inhale. Deep work on those transverse abdominal muscles. Well done. Spot on. Feeling good? Keep that there if you can. If it's feeling all too much in the sacrum or anywhere else, any niggles in the posture, just leave it, please. Otherwise, I would like you to sit and squat if you can. Can you sit and squat? So now I'm gripping harder on here, okay? I'm going to do 10. I'm going to give you a choice of whether you want to keep this band or get rid of it, okay? Or keep this and get rid of it, or get rid of this or get rid of this. Your choice. Let's go. So you can inhale there and then try it. 9. I'm losing my cushion, need to grip harder. Really having to grip on that cushion now, so it's a lot more challenging. I'm going to do 4 more. Really having to squeeze hard there, working on my adductors. I'm nearly going to drop my cushion, are you? Last one. And drop everything down. Have a little fidget and a wiggle there. And just bring yourself to any movement that releases any tension. Fabulous. I'm just going to time check. We're on time. Excellent. All right, so keep this little move going for me. This little mini lunge. Get rid of your equipment for now. You're going to need that cushion again when we come down to the floor. So what we're trying to do during these sessions is give you the confidence to keep moving with better posture. Social distancing is the way of the future. We cannot ignore that, but we are going to be frustrated. We're going to be a little bit annoyed. We're going to be hot and bothered. We're going to be standing around with this kind of posture, either with a baby on us, a baby within us, or a baby on our back, or somewhere responsibilities of bags on shoulders. So I want you to think about how you can present a better posture when you're in your social distancing. It's the same thing as when you're queuing or when you're sitting down. It's the same thing. So just bring yourself here to your neutral spine again, and then just rock the hips again for me. Just rock the hips. Just rock those hips, and maybe do a little bit of a few circles. Few circles. Few circles here. And then the other way, loosening out any tension that's been built up there in your sacrum. Okay, so I want to work with you. You can use thin air or you can use a band again. And we're going to go on some simple movements. And start with my hands in the air. And then I'm going to bring my legs backwards and forwards. We've been working on this quite often in some of the sessions. I also do the 6 months plus sessions. So if you like the band and you felt that it was giving you a little something extra, grab it again. If it's not working for you, fine, that's all good. We'll use thin air. What I want you to do is try and use this movement so that you're getting some real good work in this area. So upper traps, cervical spine. So think about how that's working for your posture for you. So let's do that quick tip there. Let's see if we can squeeze that in. So take your arms, shoulder injury free people. Take your arms above your head. Try it for me. Or try the rinsing on one side. So I'm going to show you side profile. And then think about that with both arms. So you can do this one daily, guys. So if I just lock that one in place and then take that one, where does it want to go? See where the shoulder mobility is and check in with that, because this will give you a good indication of your posture, and it also relates to how mobile your hips are. So if you can't get your arms all the way back, that's not a problem. What it would be good for you to do is just do some shoulder rolls daily. And people underestimate these moves. It's becoming very trendy on social media at the moment, is mobility sessions, mobility, because people are realising that over the decades we've been teaching fat loss, feel the burn. You know, we're moving away from cardio, sweatband type workouts. We've come into the movements of stretch through our mind-body sessions, like yoga that you've seen, like the Pilates you've experienced, and then also flexibility and now mobility. So there's good reason, there's a lot of evidence behind, you know, this exercise for sure. So if you can keep that one going daily and it's pain-free, please keep that in. It's as important as brushing your teeth, and I mean that. Okay, so let's get back to this movement. If you like the band, just come to the front edge of your mat and just tap your foot back, just like we did when we were on the floor on all fours. What I want you to do, you could breathe out if you wanted to. If that feels like it's not getting coordinated today, doesn't really matter. What's really important is that you feel good in the movement. You're just enjoying the movement this morning. It just feels good. So your arms could be up like that, and then you're going to bring them down as you bring your feet together, and then you're going to tap back. And that's it. If it's too much, drop this please, and I would like you to consider just lifting your arms to shoulder height even, because that's fine. So let's just do 10, okay, and we'll see how we go with those. So start with your arms up, let's just tap back and then step forward. And this is really going to stretch your abdominal wall. So if you have got a gap that's healing on your abdominal wall, I would like you to think about that breathing out there, and I'd like you to think about how you can pull your tummy muscles, feel like they're pulling towards the spine, instead of feeling that there any bulging there. Okay, so I'm going to do that again. So I'm going to go 6, 5, 4, 3, head and chest is up. 2, take your arms where they want to go. Enjoy the movement, guys. I'm laughing because my daughter does these videos to herself. She pretends she's American, like YouTuber, and she goes, "Thanks for watching, guys." So I can hear her voice in my head when I'm doing that. How did that feel for you? Did it feel good? Perhaps it was challenging your balance. Perhaps it was really challenging your coordination. Yeah, because we get brain fog, don't we? Yeah, being mums, because the sleep's disturbed. You know, we've got high level responsibilities. So you are naturally having to really focus doing this mindful movement. So well done for having a go. I'm going to progress that now. I'm going to give you a choice, with or without the band, okay? Bend the back leg, all right? So if you want to bend the back leg, have a go. You'll end up coming here and then coming here. So really, I'm just getting you to have a play, aren't I, with your lunges, okay? And using that proprioceptivity, finding your body awareness without seeing it. Okay, so if it feels good, bend it, okay? If it doesn't feel good in the hips or anywhere else, narrow the distance of the split stance. Avoid depth here, not having it on the knees. Use the breath, smile. Yeah, we'll do 5 each leg, with or without the band. You ready? Start with the band up, please, to the sky. Here we go. 1. Bend that back knee. If you're working at that level, try and bring your hips behind that front knee. Take it at your own pace. Big flowing breaths here, please. I'm going to do 4 more. Try not to look at the floor. And I think that might be 10 on each leg. You can always stop this, rewind it, repeat. The sessions are designed with you in mind, so you can elongate sections, of what I've put in the plan for you for today. Well done. My heart rate went up then, which is a good sign. It means I'm using bigger muscle groups and I'm getting a little bit of a boost, a circulation boost, which is great. Really releasing those hormones, those feel-good hormones. Have a little drink, and I'll just check on our timing. Drink. Yaki da, pal. All right. I trust you're enjoying the session so far. Any niggles? Lower back, always a winner. All right, and I also invite you to watch back through the videos as well and see what you can pick up from the sessions on our pelvic health. All the chats that we've had, you'll find them really useful. Okay, so here. All right, yes. I've got a little chair here to think about what I'm doing. I don't have a sofa in your view, so I've got a little chair. So what I want you to do is grab a teddy, grab a cushion, grab a ball, and think about bending and putting it down on your chair and then standing up. This is the last one we're going to do before we go down into our bridges. And I'm going to spend the last few minutes of today's session working on your pelvis, repeating a little bit of the work that we did for the 6 months plus group with their lower back and unloading the pelvis for you. So we're going to repeat that today. So if you missed that, if you haven't seen it, you get to see it today. Roll your shoulders back. Here, object. If you want to use a dumbbell, use a dumbbell. So squat and then put that in here. So obviously the further it is away from you, you can feel that tugging on your abdominal wall. You can feel it tugging even with the pillow. So what I'm trying to get you to do is not come into this position. I'm trying to get you to come into a bend to extend position. There was a video of this in our group, in the support group, and that's about putting stuff into the buggy instead of coming down like this to sort the straps out of the buggy and tuck bibs under and look for dummies and things like that. We're coming down and maybe coming down onto our toes with a flat back, a straight back, like with a crown on our head, checking our posture. We can do that activity here in the buggy and stand up, or we can squat down and just be aware that we can hook ourselves a little bit further into a posture without coming down to here, where we spend a lot of that time here. It's a bit of work, but it will help you in the long run, I promise. So what I want you to do for this one, complete beginners new to exercise today, returning to exercise after birth of your baby, session 1. I'd like you to just come down and try that exercise. So on your sofa, on a chair, just come down, pick the cushion up, and notice that you can come down and then just feel how your body is kind of gorilla-like in your position. Just come down and pick something up. Okay, I'm going to do that 10 times. For those who are looking for next level, I'm going to try it. This is advanced work, not recommended after on your first session, okay? Certainly not in that first fourth trimester. So I want you to think about coming on to working on one leg that's in your progression. So I want you to squat down and then come back up. Okay, so on one leg. Not for people just returning to exercise today, please, or just even after the C-section, 12 weeks, it's not for you. I love you, but this exercise isn't for you. So just come down, and because we're short on time, I'll do 5 each leg. Okay, so I'll do this leg first. I want you to make sure it's really bent and it's hard to sit back into it. Put something down on the table or a chair, and then bring it back up to you. Okay, so that's 1. You can even get a bit more showy. See my chandeliers on top of my head there? I can't do that one very well. And just bend into it. So work on tracking the knee over the big toe. Yeah, so 2 more. Sit that hip back. Up. And another one. Otherwise, you're just doing a little squat today, please. That's a huge amount of work for your pelvis. Okay, try the other leg if you're with me, if you're feeling that you want that challenge today. All right, look for the breath. Is it helping you? Are you gritting your teeth? Can you keep a nice flow of breath? So for me, I really have to think about the shoulders dropping down into their sockets. Maybe a stretch on the top. Just bringing that knee, bending it deeply, and then see if I can kick my hips back a bit more. And then I can feel that tugging here in my tummy. I think this might be the last one. Fabulous. And then we're going to take our legs wide, roll our shoulders. Are we all okay after that? I hope, I trust you are. I'm pretty sure you're doing good. All right, so if you did 10 with both feet on the ground, or you did 5 with 1 foot on the ground, I just want you to sit down into that. And then as you come up, I want you to come up onto your toes and contract your pelvic floor, reach up to the sky 5 times. Sit down onto your heels. This is for everyone, this one. Contract pelvic floor somewhere, zip up from the back to the front, reach up to the sky, let the pelvic floor drop here. This is 3. Scooping up, middle section, back passage, zipping up. Where are you talking to your pelvic floor today? Should we do that? Let go. Squeeze, zip up, back to front, reach up to the sky, drop your shoulders, shake your tail feather, feel good. Last one. And then we're coming down to the floor, ladies. Have a quick drink. I'm going to keep my cushion, actually. Grab yourself a quick drink and then ask yourself how you're going down to the floor. I just want you to think about lying down on your back into your semi-supine position. Semi-supine position is with your knees bent flat on the floor, but if you know some movements that you enjoy on the floor, go to them straight away. We are working into a bridge. If you know that, play with your bridges, please. This is all about your pelvic tilting today, unloading the pelvis from the work it's been doing for us and giving it a bit of chance to relax. So remembering that during the pregnancy, we're putting all pressure in here, we're pushing down into here, which is causing the pressure here. So what we're trying to do is take the pressure off. Like when we relaxed, it was relaxing and then we were contracting it back up. It probably sounds familiar if you've studied any of your pelvic floor, done any reading about your exercises. But as I lie down now, I'm going to lift your pelvis. This is my pelvic tilting, which we've just done standing. Posterior and anterior tilting. We're going to do the same lying down, which is in your bridges, but I'm going to lift your pelvis up and prop a cushion underneath it, so it feels like kind of all the contents are going that way, which is completely unloading your pelvis. So it's something, it's quite a relaxing thing to do, and it's not just for your postnatal stage, it's for the rest of your life. It's a way of just taking pressure off your hips. So if you're down on the floor, 10 points. I'm going to come down onto the floor now. I'm going to go down with a little bit of a roll. Quick one. I'm going to lie down on my back, all right, into your semi-supine position. And then what I want you to do straight away, if you've had a little play with your bridges already. So remember, if you're really new, so your first session back, come down onto your side, avoid coming up and rolling up like that. Doing that kind of flexion to try and get up quickly. Let these muscles heal before you start doing your crunches. So here, for those who have progressed from their bridge play already, so definitely not week 1 or that fourth trimester, you're at the end of your 4th trimester and you've had some practice here already, you might want to grip, just like what we did before, working on the adductors, working on the whole of the pelvis, pelvic floor. You can grip there. So just place your feet, walk them away from you, walk them back a bit closer to you, just feel where they are, open them wide, get them back into where you think that they feel really comfortable. Just feel the neck length. So you put your chin up and then tuck your chin down. And just like we did with our hips, you can find that feeling of where you feel that there's a natural length in your neck. Same with the shoulders. Take your arms out and try and spread your shoulders apart. And try and spread the bones, the subscapular bones, spread them apart. And then try and bunch them up together. So really squeeze your arms to kind of together so you just feel like you're all bunched up. And you see how it's changed my spine. It's caused this gap here. So I'm like extending the spine, putting pressure through my abdominal wall, which is what you don't want. So you're healing there. So come back onto neck is long, shoulders are separated. Now work on the pelvis for me. So just as we rocked our pelvis standing and on all fours today, let's do that again. So here, imagine the tail is going back up behind you, now it's coming through the legs. So posterior tilting and anterior tilting. Find your hip bones, so ischium, these kind of bony, it's kind of bony like wings. They're like wings, aren't they? They're like wings, you can't really see them on the line down. It's wings here. Put your hands on them. Notice if it's tugging and pulling anywhere on the spine. And then find a neutral position. Adjust yourself so you're super comfortable. I'm going to do the same here, and then I'm just going to put my hands on my tummy, and I'm going to kind of roll myself up for 8 counts, and I'm just going to breathe throughout so it feels really comfortable. Just notice your jaw, ladies, when you're moving, okay? Let's just turn your pelvis under, and then notice how it rises. Notice where you're feeling the work, and then come down. I'm going to get you to do that one more time, and observing your breathing with that as well. So just observing the breath. And what I want you to do as well is observe whether you feel you're working more in the hamstrings, more in your quadriceps. Just observe your own body's movement, or more in the buttocks. Just work out where you can really focus on your movement. And if you've got any concerns on your abdominal wall, you might want to put your hands there and just see if there's any pressure underneath your hand, or if you can keep your tummy muscles towards the spine. Just come up to where it feels good. Keep breathing. And resting the buttocks and the sacrum on the ground. Well done. Take that cushion, if you had it between your legs, put it over your head for me, and then check your space. And then what I want you to do, like me, check your space. Take your right leg down, and then bring your arms, stretch them over your head, and see if as you lift your leg you can bring your pillow to your leg. Let's just do it 3 more times. Notice the tugging and pulling in your spine. Just notice if it feels good, or does it feel too taxing. Keep your arms feeling controlled instead of letting the pillow come down. That's it. Let's try the other side. So short repetitions. So here you could use your out breath again. You could inhale, exhale. Fabulous. Let's drop that pillow down. So of course you can repeat that over and over and over again. Repetitions, you could do 12, you could do 16, or as long as you're not pulling and tugging too much on your pelvis, which then causes you to put loads of stretch and pressure there to make those really long as you put your pelvis behind you, which we don't want. We want to keep these muscles, just want to keep them working in harmony, really. We don't want to just ask them to do too much, because they're already doing a lot every day and they're in recovery mode. So same again. So just notice when you're lifting your arms over your head where you can keep a really good balance with the flow of breath and with the control of your movement on that. So repeat that, please, when you have more time. Let's move on to your little bridge play here. What I want you to do is just get your bridge up again. So you might want to bring your feet close to your bottom, roll up, and then just put this cushion on the upper back so that your bottom is off the floor, and just feel how that feels. You see that I've extended the spine so that my chest is lifted. I'm just going to feel what that feels like. It's sometimes pleasurable if you have your knees together. Sometimes that feels really good on some people. If not, just keep your feet flat on the floor. Couple of breaths. What I'd like you to do from there is just draw that pillow down. Again, check your shoulder blades, check your chin, so that you've got that feeling of an alignment through the body. And then see if you can raise your hips up and put your bolster, your cushion under your bottom, and then kind of what I was doing before is showing you how I was putting the pelvis in directing the contents of the pelvis back towards me. So you could go higher if you've got a bigger bolster, and of course if you've got spinal flexibility and your spine feels good, you could go higher. And just feel how that feels. Take one leg off. I'm not doing any Pilates breath, I'm just really paying attention to what's feeling like it's releasing tension for me. I'm going to take that leg up, I'm going to stretch it up, and I'm going to drop it down. It's going to feel like a big pull here, probably from the umbilicus to the pubic bone. If that doesn't feel any tension for you today, please do one more lift and lower. If this is feeling at any point just taxing, disagreeable, lift your bridge and remove the cushion and go into knees on chest, please, which is a good counter pose. Separating my shoulders again, just lifting that knee towards me. So you can spend as long as you like here. You can add your ankle rolls. We're almost at the end of today's session. I trust you've enjoyed it. I will aim to post it in the right group today. Try that leg lifting here. This of course presents you with an opportunity for your hamstring stretch. I'm lowering it down to the floor, controlling it. I can do that one more time so it feels good for me. Bring that back. And if you feel really comfortable here, bring both knees onto the chest. Open them a bit wider. Maybe put your hands around the easiest part you can reach. Roll the ankles. You will feel like you're really loosening here in the pelvic floor, as in a sense of openness. Thinking about how you are stretching in this area. If you're in this area now, these bones are wide, so there's a stretch across your pelvic floor that way. So just try and relax into that if you can. So we hold a lot of tension into our pelvic floors. We hold an awful lot of tension there. And we are a society of women who insist on holding their tummy muscles towards them like every day, all day. And some people, they're actually holding their tummy muscles in all day to try and maintain a physique. Particularly if you're a regular fitness goer or a trainer, it causes a lot of problems in people's bodies because of this overactive holding your tummy muscles in. You know, get to a certain age and you're holding them in all the time to try and make them resemble a younger you. If you can just practice relaxing here, that will do you a great favour. Rock side to side if it feels good onto those hips. You can bring your legs closer. And of course, come out of this whenever it's uncomfortable for you. That feels really great for me today. I want to stay longer. We've got another class a little bit later on, so I've got to come out. I've got to go to work. So I'm going to just lift up onto my toes to remove my bolster. So that's a good one for you to practice. And of course, baby's on the floor with you all the time. So you can have these props with you all the time. And then you can, for sure, just integrate those into your daily movements. So you've got little movement snacks all day. You recognise this one? Have a go. Hands can be on the floor. They can be on the tummy. Instead of looking to challenge ourselves, why not just look at restoring ourselves? You know, this sort of loving kindness towards ourselves, to our bodies, to our mindsets. You know, less judgment, more curiosity. Just offering ourselves practices that nourish us, so practices that we want to come back to again and again and again. Just rolling yourself over to the side, take a couple of breaths here. So ideally we're practicing, we're working on using movements that nourish us, that bring us a chance to just get what we need, as opposed to, you know, heavy gains that, you know, the things that mums kind of tie themselves into, and it's very easy to overcommit when you're a mum. I myself have just heard news that the high schools, my son's high school, won't be opening again full time in September. So, you know, there'll be a lot of things that are on mum's minds. If you're going to sit here with me, you probably do with propping yourself up onto a cushion if you can. This is the last couple of minutes of today's session. So, yeah, you know, we have stresses, unforeseen stresses. We're living in a pandemic, and we're living in the most extraordinary times. If you yourself have had a baby during this pandemic, then you know yourself that you are the mother of a rainbow baby, and have been through an experience that not many people can measure up to. Certainly those who had babies before the pandemic are going to have a very different experience to those mums who've had a baby during the pandemic. And so it's important that you recognise that these little practices, even just sections of what we've done today, they can become like little routine habitual practices. And I stress it to you with the most loving and kind way that I can, that are as important as brushing your teeth every day. Those little practices, they can just become your home space, your little rituals, like your sacred little blessings to yourself, however you want to label those, or whatever box you want to put them in. excuse me, it's really important to observe your attitude as you're working to restore your health. And I teach all ages. I teach families, I teach older adults, I teach people with medical controlled conditions, generic fitness, and the message is the same. It's teaching ourselves to use our movements and our bodies in ways that make us feel good and that ignite within us it's loving kindness, gentleness, yummy, delicious, groovy juiciness that we desire, that we crave, and really we are responsible for that. There's no one else who can give it to us. So I hope that has been useful as a little chat at the end of today's session. I encourage you to take these practices into your everyday lives very gently. Take what you need, press pause, rewind, comment, personal message. I don't advise you do these sessions every day, just to be clear on that. I recommend you have 2 days rest in between each session, and then do your longer walks. But certainly the mobility sections, over time you'll come to recognise what's a mobility session, what is a strength session. You'll be able to see that those sessions, those mobility sections, knees onto the tummy, knees side to side, shoulder rolls using the bands to mobilise your shoulder girdle, simple swinging squats, the yogic squats that we've been doing, those kind of things, working on keeping you mobile. They can be done every day. Well, that brings us to the end of today's session. I'm just going to bring your legs out. If you've had them out already, just bring them out in front of you. I think you can see me from here. And then just take your arms side to side. You can stay with your legs crossed if that feels good for you. I'm just going to take mine out. I'm just going to rock side to side, and I'm just going to give myself a little bit of movement to unwind in the deep pockets of my back. You might like that one. Try this in bed. And then I'll just paint a rainbow overhead and then reverse it. Drop my shoulders. Reach up to the sky. Feel that you're lifting up through that spine again. And drop those down. Let's just move ourselves to closed leg position if it feels good. I'm going to do a really big kind of loop with my arms. If that again is too strong, just come to shoulder roll. Otherwise, come a little bit further. Just one more. And you're done today. You've done a great job. I'm so grateful for having you with me today. May you be happy, may you be well. I look forward to seeing you on another Babi Active session. And well done for finding us on YouTube today. 10 points to you, and well done to everybody who's come to visit the website. Thank you for having a nosy. Let your friends know, let your mummy friends know about the sessions. We look forward to continue to deliver sessions, continuing to deliver you sessions postnatally within our Babi Active group. I'm here on Friday. It's a 6 months plus advanced session. I would love you to join me if you're at the end of your 6 months, if you're coming to that 6 month stage and you're ready for something else. It's an advanced session, so do come along to that. Let your mummy friends know. I'm going to stop this video by running round to the back of the camera. I'll see you next time. Thanks so much for joining me. Bye for now.